Next on Inside ChampCar, ChampCar 2025. Welcome to tonight's episode of Inside ChampCar. This week we're going to talk about the last race at Sebring and a look ahead at 2025. Our guest, none other than the guy behind the buttons on ChampCar Live. I don't know what window he's in because it's a weird show.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're broadcasting yet. What's going on here?
It's Paul Belton. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Doing good, Brian. How you doing?
Sorry, we're just seeing if we're actually broadcasting.
Yeah, looks like we're working
in California.
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, cool. Sorry, guys. The last second, as you guys know, Brian's out in California.
Yeah.
And they've got all kinds of stuff going on out there in LA. And about 30 seconds before we were supposed to go live, you lost internet. So
lost my internet.
Yeah. So I took over the show, and now it's just hopefully you can hear us, because normally when I take over the show, you can't hear us. Paulie, can you hear us?
Yep, we got you, Bill.
Cool. All right, Brian. All right. You're on, buddy.
I set us up. I said Paul's our guest, and we're going to talk about 2025 and Sebring.
Yeah,
all that other stuff. Let's get going.
We just got back from nice sunny weather in sunny South Central Florida, yep. And it was pretty awesome. That was about a little over a week ago, and it did rain on Saturday, which did affect the race a little bit, didn't it, Paul?
Yes, it did. It rained pretty much the whole day, and no matter what the forecasters called for, that's not what happened at all.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be much more light rain, and just for maybe a portion of the day. It rained pretty much all day, off and on. The track never really got dry, and had a pretty big effect on the track and the race. I mean, it was really interesting to see all the Miatas ended up at the front of the field, crushing everybody. So it was pretty interesting.
Well, there was one Miata, the 56 car, that just was loaded up with like spec Miata racers, and I think even Whiskey Tango Foxtrot too had a whole bunch of like ringer drivers, big time drivers. So, but yeah, Saturday's race was won by Flat Out Nemesis. They show up for a few races a year, and that car just dominates at Sebring whenever they show. As long as it lasts, it does pretty well.
Yeah, and the car was in pieces the entire weekend at VIR North, and just barely did a few laps, and then Sebring shows up and they go out and just win the race.
Yeah.
So pretty amazing.
And Whiskey Tango Foxtrot finishing second place. Restarted my TV and all was good. All right. Just a black screen. Phone is still good. All right, Timmy, thank you. Yeah, Whiskey Tango. How do you say that for WTF. 8 hours? WTF. There we go. WTF finishes second place with Atlanta Speedworks and their Porsche Boxster being the top boxer of the weekend, finishing first. And that was our national champion in 2023. Then Rotary Rocketeers. Now, that's a car, they do really well or they don't at Sebring. Another one of those cars, but super fast car.
Yeah, they're always at Sebring, and it's a unique car for the series, and I absolutely love seeing them out there because they're just always there. But I got to tell you, I got to go back to Flat Out Nemesis too, though, because I don't want to truncate anything you're trying to get into with that race, but let's just be reminded that Flat Out Nemesis, and I mentioned this on the show a couple of times, they have no roof.
None of their cars
out
do.
Racing in the rain. Every driver was racing in the rain just basically the entire day, with rooster tails coming at them.
Yeah.
They had to be positively miserable. It was so bad. No windshield. That was probably one of the hardest earned wins that I could ever imagine. Of course, you don't know what people are going through until you talk to them. And so it just looked like that was a breeze for them because they just crushed everybody. But that had to suck.
Well, Grant also built the Z52. I think the Nissan 350Z 350Z they used to run with KSR. So he built that guy way back in the day, and that again had no windshield, no whatever. Remember we put a camera on that one, and the camera just got so totally destroyed from all the crap coming off the other cars in front. Where that was bad. It was a great shots throughout the race, except the camera was just beat up by rocks and everything. And I remember Troy telling me they ran without a window one time at AMP. Remember they got T-boned on the front straight? They tried running the race without a window the next day. And he said, yeah, never. There's just so much stuff that comes off these cars that you're just getting pelted constantly. Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in SCCA, obviously we run a lot without windows, big windshields, because we run a lot of open wheel cars and all that kind of stuff. And I've done that, but it's different. And Rodney Earwood really kind of pointed out when he had his Z, it's just your head's constantly being buffeted for 2 hours.
Oh wow,
it's not human.
Yeah.
It's not right. So it's hard on them, but they normally do great, and they did great. It's just I wouldn't want to be in that seat. Those guys earned that win.
And I know towards the end of the race there, they had to make a pit stop. One of their drivers has low blood sugar, and he had to come in and grab a candy bar, a Snickers bar, and head back out. And 1 by 1 lap, was it? Over over WTF?
Yeah, I think they might have been up like a lap, 2.5 laps or something like that, and ended up winning with a lap because they did have to come in there, right at the end, and we weren't sure what was going on, but we could see there was something going on with the driver.
Yeah. At first, we thought, we called that sandbagging back in the day, but it was a medical thing. So
yeah, it doesn't matter.
I remember back in the day with the American Le Mans series when they had the open cockpit prototypes. And I thought to myself, 24 hours at Daytona or 24 hours at Le Mans, an open cockpit car has got to be not fun necessarily.
No.
Of course, they have different helmets to help with the aero to help keep that helmet from lifting and so on. So
it's like a motorcycle helmet, because you have those too with the little wings on it, and not wings, but little flippers on it, and keeps it down so you don't pull it up like the old days. But flat out Nemesis is a 231 on a wet track, which is just insane. Just a great little car. Good drivers, really good drivers. So, and then Rotary Trout Rocketeers finishes 4th with Salins finishing 5th. What happened? I thought they didn't really challenge all day long. I thought Salins would have been up there.
The thing was that they were in the wet the whole day, and Will came on the show. He was one of several drivers that we interviewed during the race, which we typically interview between 3 to 5 teams or racers up in the booth per day. And he said, it's just terrifying. It's just terrifying, flat out terrifying. Doesn't like driving in the rain. But he was a trooper, and he went out and did the job, and did a great job. And Joe is, Joe Salin is a rock star, like pro driver level rock star driver, and went out and did his thing. And so it's just difficult. There's nothing, I was talking to the team on Friday, or maybe it was Saturday morning, I don't recall. And I said, so you're going to switch to rain tires? He said, well, we have tires for the rain. Yeah. And then he kind of hesitated. He said, it helps a little. It's like, it's not going to matter.
I never found Sebring to be all that bad with, in the rain. I actually enjoyed racing there, though that start-finish line with all that paint going across it was always a little iffy. There were some puddles that would develop, but they've really worked out, especially on that front straightaway. We don't get the lakes that we used to get, whenever it rained. There were some early races we did with ChampCar that it was a lake. It was really, you've seen pictures, Brian, from the 50s. Yeah. People are up to their knees in water. It was almost like that. It was pretty bad. But and I know that we
had a rudder.
Yeah, and we did we went code 35. There was it was raining so hard at a couple of times. The corner workers are having a hard time seeing. So we went code 35, just slow everybody down, just let them circulate. And that helped out a ton. And that also keeps the water from building up too. So, the car's moving the water out of the way. But they did send out their jet dryer thingies and, clear off some of the water where it puddles, which is kind of nice. So, Ed says that the start finish line was not as slick as it was. So that's good. They haven't had their the SCCA race there yet, have they? They were at Homestead last weekend, right, Brian?
Yeah, we were at Homestead last weekend, and I leave tomorrow night for Sebring.
Okay, all right. So
during the race, we could hear the front wheel drive cars were losing grip. You could hear the engines heat up and hit the rev limiter on the way through. The rear wheel drive cars seem to be okay.
You think water building up underneath the tire just as they're accelerating?
For front wheel drive, when you got a lot of power or whatever, it just doesn't seem like you really have a lot of front grip accelerating out of the corners. And when I was driving Robin's cars, a lot of times I had to feather the throttle out of the corner, which is really annoying when you're used to just matting it.
Mash it down.
Yeah.
So fast forward, Sunday, we wake up. It's a little damp, but not bad. Clear skies, kind of, good.
Supposed to be raining all day.
Yep. But it doesn't. We have such a good race. We did have some attrition. We did, which Sebring is famous for. That's one of those great tracks that you test your car building skills at, because that track will shake your car apart, as most people sitting at home right now listening to have probably spent the last week trying to find all those bolts and, find out where all those bolts and nuts are sitting in the floorboard came from. But Average Joe's little Miata ND, he takes the win there on Sunday with the 2006 Mazda Miata. WTF, runner-up again with their Mazda Miata. And then the most epic finish that I've ever seen was David Twatty driving the Marathon TLM BMW, blows up. Well, we get reports that he's smoking before he comes up under the bridge at turn 4-5. And as he goes by, it's like, oh, he's clearly smoking. Then all of a sudden, oh, that's a lot of smoke. And he's going down the back straight, and pretty much for a while there, I don't think there were any mosquitoes as he went around the track and finishes up, takes a checkered flag. Or had he taken the checkered flag already before he blew up? I can't remember.
I don't know. I all I know is he said he had blown up at the end and he just kept going.
Yeah. I think he had he took the checker, come across in pit lane because it was already blown up, and I think he had a 3-lap lead on the next car. And so 2-lap lead, he finishes. But yeah, it's that was pretty epic. Gets out of the car, stands up on the roof or somewhere over there, and I'm still following everybody around on the Flagtronics, giving them checkers and stuff, and some epic photographs there. That's our clickbait photo we use for this.
There you go.
So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I thought about, you do something like that. What if he dumped oil everywhere? That cleanup, but he didn't. It was coming out the exhaust system. Flat Out Nemesis, Marathon finishes 3rd, then Gorilla Sticker and their BMW finishes 4th. Flat Out Nemesis the Saturday winner finishes 5th, and Rotary Rocketeers in 6th. Tuning Concepts in 7th. So yeah, really good race weekend. And like we said earlier, started out with close to 100 cars, 74 No, it was like 59 cars started on Sunday. Saturday's race started with 64 cars. So yeah,
that only
sorry.
6.
No. I forgot, Paul. You forgot to tell me. How many EC cars do we have?
25.
Yeah, it was a huge amount.
Yeah.
I'm pulling that up now. So yeah.
Yeah, no, we were closer to 100.
23.
23. Well, 21
started.
Yeah, so EC cars. So we had a lot of EC cars there. So
yep.
Yeah. And And the fastest EC car was only a 234. Who knew?
Yeah.
Well, if you're looking at Saturday, it was raining really hard.
Yeah, that was the ECR, the Triple R Motorsports Mustang. So, but yeah, I don't want to click around because my computer's working pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about 2025. So we just opened up some races. We got February 8th. We have Road Atlanta coming up. We have about 50 cars signed up for that. We still got room for a few more. So if you guys are on the bench about going to a race in Atlanta, this is the time to sign up. If you're having problems with understanding how Motorsports Reg works, send us an email. We'll help you out. We'll walk you through it. Andrea's available. We have a couple of videos we've done that we have, and some Word docs that we can send you. Super easy. I actually followed the Word doc and was able to register my team for a race, and walked me through each step and worked pretty well. I did put some links into the what do they call that in here for the video?
The story notes, show notes.
Yeah, show notes. I did put some links in the show notes to get you guys started if you have any problems. But yeah, send us an email at reg@champcar.org if you're having problems, and we'll get you sorted. We'll get you sorted out. We have coming up right after the Atlanta race is the Virginia International Raceway 12-hour on South Course, and that's starting to get some entries into that one. Then Harris Hill, we just I think today was the end of yesterday was the end of the early pay for that one, and NCM, that one is our national championship. And if you didn't know, and in the show notes are also the championship results, and I have a link here. I got to get over to that, but we have Troy was able to update the national championship today. And got that up there, and it kind of surprised me. I thought some other cars would be up there, but some guys took some late season wins. Let me get over there real quick. Have you seen that, Paul? Why am I going to Facebook?
I don't know.
Why? Oh, because I'm in the wrong account. Too many windows. And I'm sorry. Having to do the show there kind of threw me a loop. I was ready.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's all right. I was ready. Just
ish.
Ready-ish. Yeah, I was like 2 minutes. No, like where'd he go? All right, scrolling down. Here we go. So national championship taking place at NCM Motorsports Park, March 15th and 16th. Had to look at that. Atlanta Speedworks, the number one car. Our national champion from last year is actually up in first, and he's the best finish and did 12 races, so that puts his rank at number one. Team Salem Ketchup, they let me make sure I have this. Yep, Team Salem Ketchup in second. Eddie Vedder, the Corvette, that had a hell of a start at the beginning of the season. He had 2 wins, or he was up there. He's in third place for the seating. And Team Salem Mustard's car, and the Auto Spec, Average Joe's, Two Brothers Racing, and Premium Dudes down in 8th. 9th is Bavarian Mustache Works, Nosy and Mazda in 10th, and it just goes down. We have the top 75 qualify for the national championship. Anybody can go to the NCM race and participate in that one. And something we wanted to announce is yesterday I completed the order for the trophies or the awards for 2025, and we alluded to it earlier end of last year about how we're going to be handing out trophies to the top 3 in each class, with the exception of EC, which still gets 1 trophy. But for the national championship, we're going to have a national championship in the class. So if you win A class, if you're the top A class car, you are now the A class national champion. So I think that'll make a lot of people happy, and they're pretty cool little trophies that we're getting for the class winners. Let me come out of these here.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was always kind of cool. I think it'll help. There's some folks that said, "Oh, everybody's a winner." Well, no, man, it's hard winning
Yeah.
a race. I know that, Paul. You know that. It's difficult to win a race, let alone win your class. Especially when you've got, these, depending on the track. There's tracks like Daytona, A class cars. Have we ever had an A class car win Daytona? I don't.
Um, I think there was a race where we had a Miata win. I remember because I think you had gone there and interviewed him and said, "How does that happen?"
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago. I think it
So
was
I
two
think
years
it
ago.
has happened.
Yeah. So,
If it was A
but it's
class or not, I
rare.
don't
But
know.
it's rare. A small displacement car wins a big track, or big, a D class car winning at a smaller track. Where they're just, yeah. It's. I think it's
Well,
kind of cool. I think it's.
I think it's nice because in an area where you're trying to keep costs down. Now a team with a different class can say, I'm racing for a class championship. I don't have to put all of the fast parts on my car to try to compete for an overall win. And I'm just going for my class win. And that makes it, maybe you spend a little bit less to go do and still have a great time,
Right.
and hopefully that brings the numbers up,
Yeah.
and you guys can fill out these fields every weekend, and that's important.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the idea of handing out a little more trophies. I think we can do it.
Yep.
All right, and then again, national championship. I wanted to do it last year, but we weren't ready for it. It was one of those things like at first, yeah, we just weren't ready for it, and we had a whole year to plan for it. So here we are. So
Right.
get you guys signed up. Go win a national championship class trophy if you can't win the big guy.
Yeah.
Ed said he's having problems signing up. Ed, pop me an email, or Andrea. She'll be able to sort you out. Now, let's see what else. What else can I announce? We got some big news coming out this week. Big news on some changes. I can't really say what it is yet, but it does have to do with those round black things you guys stick on your cars. So stay tuned. Watch your email. Chiswick will be sending out an email sometime this week, and read it. Let us know what you think, and I think that'll be a good move in 2020. 5-ish, 6-ish, or something like that. I don't know. More
Yeah.
on that when you get it. I skimmed it. I'm not racing. And what else? I did post up some stuff about Flagtronics units. Once we get the information from Flagtronics on the version numbers or the latest version for 2025, which will be a little different encryption and some other things to change. Everybody will be on it, and we have to have everybody on it, and we won't have any problems on pit lane. We've already tested it at the last couple of tracks, and as long as you had the latest firmware, you didn't get that GPS drifting thing. So that's working fine. And we talked about batteries. So one of the things that we we experimented with was we thought that maybe some of the batteries might have been going dead on these units. So when it took such a long time, some cars weren't charging their batteries on the FT200. So when you come in for a pit stop and you turn it off, it would just reset. And so you'd get to pit out and your timer had reset at some point, so the battery wasn't working. So come to find out, if you show up at the race and your battery is dead and you plug it into your 1 amp charger, it's going to take forever to charge. And when I say forever, it could take a day or two, especially under race conditions, because it's also trying to work. Paulie, Jimmy says you need to smile. It's late, man. It's late Tuesday night. That man worked all day long. I heard him. We talked a few times. But yeah, that FT200 has the battery in line on it, has a hard time charging. So what we're suggesting, and what Flagtronics has suggested, is plug it in prior to the race, either to a USB battery or to some sort of to a high amp or a 2 amp phone charger or something like that, just into the wall, plug it into the wall, get it charged up before you get to the race. And when it's done charging, just just hit the off button. Yeah, into one of those, and one of those little battery packs. And that's what we use, for ours when we play around with. We use those for the in-car cameras, and
Right.
actually the car or the track cameras too. So charge those things up. You hold down the top button, that turns it off, and you should be good to go. Because everybody that showed up with a fully charged battery, no issues whatsoever. It was the guys that and you need to have a 2 amp, a 2.4, or I think it's 2.4 amp cigarette lighter charger for your USB. You have to have that. You can't do this on a 1 amp, the
use
gas station, USB cigarette lighter adapter. You got to have a proper cigarette lighter adapter. And I put up a couple of links. And when will the 25 VPI list be updated? It should be updated now. So it's a live document. So Lee, if you got some issues, pop me an email. Tell me what the issues are, and then we'll get it sorted out tomorrow. So I know we've Rob and I and Andrea have been working extensively on getting this tech system up and working. I don't know if you guys know, your online tech really hasn't been working. It hasn't been there at all until today. So it's actually up on the website. I went through and teched my own car for Road Atlanta. It works super easy, but I have to put the process together for you guys, in writing, so you guys can follow the instructions. Basically, just log in, do your when you log in, the team captain, to the tech system to submit your tech form. Just do it like you always have, except you type in your name, type in your car. The two systems aren't linked yet perfectly, but go ahead and type that in and fill out your tech form. And when you're done, we can see it. We can then transfer that data over to MSR, and you should be good to go. But more on that over the next few days. So this has been a lot of work, let me tell you, trying to get this system working. But they've been really helpful, MSR, and part of it is ChampCar is a little different, so we do things a little differently. Let's see what else I'm looking on here. Yeah, Ed, you had the proper firmware on yours. There were some teams out there with older firmware, and as soon as they went down pit lane, sometimes if they were too close to the wall, it thought they were out on the track. So they fixed that, but you got to have the firmware to get the fix. So,
right.
And that's one of the things in 2025 that you guys are responsible for that. We just don't have the bandwidth to do it on weekends. Paulie knows about that, man. It's a lot to do that, It's not like we just sit up there and tell stories and stand around, right? Or do we? Kind of do. No.
That's something I want to get into.
No, but but yeah. So you just you guys are responsible for that. Just get that up. And John, Daytona opens up noon Thursday. So. But yeah, so we're gonna have I got a laptop all set up. We're gonna put in registration. So if you guys bring your FT200 in there and just plug it in, you can update it there. If for some reason you don't have a laptop to do it with, we'll have it there for you to do it. So just it'll be in registration at all races going forward, and also our tech guys can help you as well if they have the time to do that. So, but it is the team's responsibility. So,
yeah.
All right. So Paul, we got a busy season coming up with ChampCar Live. I think it'll be a fun season. Everybody would love the race at Sebring. You brought in a lot of new tech and did some fun stuff out there.
Well, the show's been growing a little bit at a time with additional cameras. We're going to have even more of that going into 2025. We're also going to have some new people joining the show. We're going to have Lester Epps. And if you've been racing in ChampCar for a while, everybody knows Les and loves Les. I mean, what's not to love? As I always say, more less is more. Yeah, that's what I say.
Well, he was on the show here. He's a trip.
He's gonna be joining us for the 2025 season as a pit road reporter.
Nice.
Beginning at Daytona. He won't be with us at Michelin Raceway. It'll be at NCM.
Okay.
That first big race outside of Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta, the Flying Wrench Motorsports 14-hour at Road Atlanta. It's going to be, we're going to have a pit road cameraman, though, and it will be Nolan Waldrop, which was, of course, Doc's son. He was with us at Sebring, did a great job.
Yeah,
so he's going to be joining us so that we have that pit road presence, and we're going to have that footage there. Troy Trulio's volunteered to help out a little bit, too, with that. And I'm sure how much time or availability he'll have for that.
Well, wait. You know everything's going to be like really, like, all you're going to see is little head.
Well, it's on a stick.
Oh. I have one of the, remember that boom mic I bought? Remember that boom mic I bought during COVID? We can just put a camera on there and be at normal level.
Yep. So Les is going to be awesome. Also, some people, we've had Kyle Lockrow on the show in the past for half hour to an hour, and people really like Kyle and had some great things to say. And I mean, he's really very knowledgeable, a lot of experience. He's raced in NASCAR, ARCA, and he's been a part of ChampCar for quite a long time, does some coaching now with the series, and is really good on the broadcast. He's going to be joining me for the 2025 season as a co-host, as Tiffany Alexander and Billy Salen are going to cycle away from the show. And of course, we're internally indebted for the amount of work that Tiffany and the commitment that Billy's made to the show. So they're going to be missed. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting season. I'm really looking forward to working with both Les and with Kyle. So Road Atlanta, pretty excited about. So yeah, looking forward to February, as we all should be.
And that's historically, that's been a pretty exciting race too, Road Atlanta.
Yeah, it's an incredible racetrack, and I don't know, it's kind of quickly becoming one of my favorites. I think it's just such a wild design now that I've actually driven it.
Oh, when did you get to drive it?
Well, I drove it with my wife. I think it was a couple of years ago.
Yes. But you haven't raced on
Chelsea
it yet.
Lost all sense of common sense and let us drive around it.
I do remember that.
Of course, we just embarrassed her. But my wife was just blown away, and I was like, "Wow, this is pretty intense." I'm sure it's speed.
What do you think coming up under that bridge? What was your first thought?
That was the thing, was coming down 11 into 12.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as I was driving, Brian, have you raced at Road Atlanta?
Oh, yeah.
So it's the run coming down the S's, and the left-hander just looks like you're headed down to a wall.
Yep.
And you're just going to smack that and die.
Yeah.
Yep. 12 is the one that really gave me the moment of questioning my life decisions.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to get that terribly wrong to hit a very, very, very tall cement wall if you get it wrong. And I fortunately never did, but I probably also never took it as hard as I should have. So,
but you're looking right. You're not really looking at that wall, because if you're looking at the wall, I was looking at the wall. Yeah, you're looking right. You know,
you may have never taken it as hard as you wanted to, but you lived to tell the tale.
I did.
You had a good time.
I had a blast.
So there.
Yeah, there is that.
You did it right.
I just remember coming down the hill, and I forget the team's name, but they were one of the big teams in ChampCar with their E36. And they were going, I just remember coming down the hill and looking right. And as I look right, I'm seeing their car, which was multicolors. They were from the Wisconsin area, going up the hill. And all of a sudden the hood just went, so I think they had just come out of pit lane, and their hood just went straight back into the window. And, but I just remember seeing that coming down the hill. And, that was always one of the funniest things I remember from that track.
So I'm seeing here Lee and John are talking about post-race interviews. Yep. That is part of what's coming back that Les will be taking care of. So that's going to happen.
Yay.
So when I tuned in on Saturday and Sunday, the pit road camera, I thought had just added a wonderful layer to the broadcasts. Yeah. To see what was going on. people scrambling to do this or scrambling to do that, or when the hood came up and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know who you had chasing around with that camera, but they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, that was Nolan Waldrop, and
Okay.
he's going to be filling in for Les when Les isn't available. But for the most part, Les is going to be on the job. And so, yeah, just having somebody down there, I think, is not just in the pits, but also in the paddock and the garages. We're going to have some really good commitment down there instead of not just in the tower where I will be with Kyle. We're also going to be able to bring you that hard hitting interviews and happenings that's going on down there on pit road, the garages, and in the paddock as well.
Awesome.
Or post hard hitting.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, there's a lot of hard hitting jokes. I almost got beat up one time in the paddock because I said something like that.
Well, Bill has suggested. I told Bill today. I said I'd like to get some shirts for the guys, and he said, "What about red shirts?" Well, Bill and I are both Star Trek fans, and we both know red shirts are not a good thing to have. Walking around pit lane. So, we're gonna see what we're gonna do, but. Yeah.
I thought the red shirts would be kind of cool because from the tower you can see them. I mean, you know where your red shirts are. So plus,
so we are going to have the three of us will have different shirt. We'll each have shirts that are unique to the club. So when you see Les coming up and asking questions or wanting to put a camera in your car or myself or whoever, please just give Les first of all a thank you, because it's working down there in the pits on the cement and the asphalt. It's grueling job, and he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to, so please be gracious to him and help him out, and we'll all have a great time.
Okay, I'm thinking green. Green
is the go.
You doing Kermit?
Yeah, I mean it's a we couldn't do red because we talked about it. I thought it'd be cool because on pit lane it's not a big deal, but if he has to go out and do something, if he goes out to corner 9 to turn on a camera or fix something, or some of the staff might do that, or just to go to interview some fans out there and he's got a red shirt on, that's not really the best thing to have out by a corner, right? Right, Paul? With me at where was that? Laguna Seca?
Sebring.
My red coat? No, it was Laguna Seca with my
Laguna Seca. Yeah, you kind of got barked at that day. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was red. It was a coat. It was cold.
That's good.
Yeah, the roving pit reporter is pretty cool. I remember Brian messaged me, says, "That is awesome."
Yes.
I said, "What? What's awesome?" Oh, yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah. Troy said he grabbed the camera and shove it in the car and while they were fixing it or whatever, right up against the guy's helmet or something, and thought that was pretty fun.
Troy grabbed it and he actually took it right under the hood, and
that was it.
We had a close up view of the guy's fuse box. I don't know why, but we did. And
then the protests were filed.
Yes.
Is that a 2.4? I'm not sure if that should be a 5 amp. What's he doing?
Yeah, 5 amp with that GT30.
Is that a 5.7 Chevy in that Miata? That's not an EC.
Well, that's a water pump, not a turbo.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah. Old superstition says green at the racetrack is bad luck.
Yeah, green cars are bad luck. We know that.
Yeah.
Troy proved that wrong. There's a few green cars that have won in this series, but this is really green. It's sparkly, so maybe that might be it. So, but yeah, we'll figure something out for you, Paul. We'll get you guys all cool shirts.
Captain Kirk Gold is the way to go.
Oh, there you go.
Remember
papaya orange.
Remember we talked about getting the ABC Wide World of Sports coats.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
The Blazers.
The Blazers. Doc was like, no.
Sebring, Chris Economaki.
Yep. And Doc worked with Chris Economaki. So, yeah.
One of my heroes.
Yeah. So, all right. Lots going on in 2025. Rule book's out, of course. I think the VPI is updated. I'll have to take a look at that. But pop me an email if you see anything wrong and ready to go. I know we had some errors with the swap calculator, or maybe the calculators weren't working right, and that was fixed this afternoon. We checked everything but the two things that we probably use most when we updated our code. So that's done. What else, Paul? Anything else? coming up?
Yeah, there's so much going on. It's been the past 6 weeks have been so hectic and insane, and yeah, we're getting some new hardware for ChampCar Live. We're going to have some. I'm actually going to be installing some different camera lenses, which is really going to put us closer to the racetrack. We're going to get away from some of those big wide angle 170-degree lenses. So I think we're going to have more cameras too in the track. So I think you're going to see a much better produced show. And we got Roy that just signed up with us as a series. Is it? Can I say sponsor?
Oh yeah,
Am I
yeah.
allowed
No,
to say
he is
that?
sponsor. Yeah. So Roy is the part of the series sponsor. So it's the Parts Badger has just come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And
I'm very excited about that.
Yep.
Roy's just been really doing a fantastic job with his YouTube videos, educating ChampCar teams. I'm not sure that enough people have really tuned in to see what he's doing. He's just it's sort of a Will Nonamaker type of real ambassador type for the sport. Will, by the way, also doing a great job producing videos. He's really seeking out those teams that we don't hear so much about, which is very exciting. He's produced quite a few videos now, doing a great job. So those two guys deserve a thanks and a handshake, not only for elevating ChampCar, but the sport in general.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
So it's very exciting to have Roy on board. He's just posted another video about brakes, so make sure you go ahead and check that out on his Miatas. He's building an F-Class Miata too. So hearing more and more about teams trying to develop these F-Class machines. And it's, of course, we're going to be sending trophies, as you said. If you didn't catch at the beginning of the broadcast, down into third place, top three of each class position. So there truly is a podium race in the classes. So it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a good year, folks. It's going to be good.
Yep. And we have sponsor. Most of the sponsors are returning for 2025. We got some new ones that we're working on, and we'll announce those when they come across. But Tire Rack's still our main sponsor there for the series, and then Parts Badgers come on as a series sponsor with Lifeline USA, Frozen Rotors, Hawk Brakes, and Flying Wrench Motorsports. Flagtronics as well. And then our class sponsors are Krispy Kreme for Class A, Class B is Discovery Parts, Class D is Nine Lives Racing, and AutoZone is another advertiser for ChampCar Live. And Better Call. Eric Kaul's back on for 2025 as well. But yeah, just if you guys, we're still looking for a couple of sponsors for the classes. We have Class C, Class EC, and Class F opened up. So give myself or Mike Chiswick a call, or send us an email, and we'll get you some information there. So yeah, it'll be good.
Good stuff.
Yep. So little sad news. I think this is going to be our last show for Inside Champ Car for a while. We wanted to put focus on Champ Car Live, but we can't do all of these things at once. It's just too much. It's a lot of work. So Paulie's going to take the lead on all the media stuff, and that'll be good for the show. I think Paul's been with us how long now, man? Since 16, 17?
It's the 9th year. Yeah.
Yeah. So
about 9 years, I think.
So yeah, we'll I'll come back every now and then, and we'll do some updates on Inside Champ Car. But for now, it's just this is going to be it. So on that note, thank you, Brian, for getting us here and working with us every week for the last 100 or 200 shows. 200. It's a lot of shows, man.
140 some episodes, I think, last time I checked.
3 years with the shows. Yeah, it was a lot. So
well, and I want to thank you guys, because when I started this little deal, what is it, about 4 years ago or so, you guys were my first real client, and you came to me and we wanted to do something, and I was like, okay, I'll send ChampCar a quote, and I'll never hear from him again. And 2 weeks later, they sent me a check, and I was like, holy cow, we're going to do this thing.
Yeah.
And that was 140 some episodes ago. I think we've done a really nice job of keeping people informed and having a good time with it, and a little bit of standard garage, ribbing and trash talking along the way. And I've had a blast. I didn't know a lot about ChampCar when we started, and every episode I learned a little bit more and realized that these are two organizations, ChampCar and the one I'm most passionate about, SCCA. They can work together side by side, and they complement each other. So I'm a little melancholy about the whole situation, obviously, but I think you guys have a great future with what you're changing with the shows, and who knows where I'll pop up down the road. I never close the door completely.
And you talk about the SCCA. That's one of the things that really helped us too, was understanding how they were doing things. And this last PRI, we actually sat down with the president of the SCCA and had some good talks about the two organizations and how we can work together, and how our tech guys can work together. And we're going to be doing some stuff in the future. So it's always good, especially with the Paulie's an SCCA guy, and it's always good to kind of see how both sides do it. And this show has or actually both shows inside the SCCA, and has really helped us see that. So we're all the same, basically, just racers trying to get on track and have some fun.
And I'm not going anywhere. I still do the Inside the SCCA podcast, which has a lot of ChampCar drivers and teams involved in the SCCA also. So don't be afraid to check us out
with the old cars.
What's that?
With the old cars, the classic cars,
the vintage cars.
Yeah,
yep,
vintage.
Yep.
Sorry,
we're gonna get a bigger push on the vintage cars as well. That was one of the things when Bill told me we were going to start ramping this thing down. I'm like, okay, I had kind of fell on the wayside with that once I started that, but that's going to also get a new focus. Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff. All these people in the chat who I've gotten to know, it's going to be, it's been a lot of fun, and the people in the chat have really made it awesome too. So,
well, thanks, Brian. Thank you, Paulie, for joining us tonight. And we got some good things coming up with ChampCar in 2025. And I think that's a wrap, man. I believe. You have anything, Paulie?
There you go.
Be safe, Bill or Brian. Be safe out there, your friends and family.
Yeah.
They're going through a tough time right now again in California. That's always hard to hear.
Yeah, it's tough, but we'll be good. We'll be good. And we'll see you guys at the racetrack down the road, I'm sure.
Oh, wait. MR2 and Opal. GT.
I thought we were going to get through a full show.
No, we can't do that. Drink up, boys and girls. All right,
Thank you, everybody.
Let me start this music. I think it's this one. I think it's this button.
Oh, do I get to say the words one more time?
There we go.
Let's see. I still got the words here. Let me try to wrap this up one final time. That's going to do it for another episode of Inside ChampCar. If you like what you hear, subscribe to ChampCar Live so you won't miss any of their races going forward. It'll also be good if you should share their races on social media. Comment on the ChampCar Facebook page. Bad ones go directly to Bill Strong. There won't be a new episode next week, but we'll be there somewhere down the road. Bill Strong, Paulie Veltum, Brian Bielanski. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.